As you're no doubt already aware, there's tons of things to start preparing now for when Mr. Pandaria launches, or things to actually get ready before the pre-patch. I've spoke about lots of these things at length in different videos, but one thing that I've not really gone too much into detail with is exactly how many justice points do you want to stock up on before the pre-patch launches, and then again before launch. And I know you're probably thinking, well, you can only have 4K. Yes, but you've got multiple characters that you can get 4K on, and we do have, at the moment, a way to get extra by stocking up on Fisher Stone fragments and Obsidian fragments. Now, while we don't know if those are going to change or not, or maybe even be removed, it's at least worth thinking about now, because if we go back to Wrath of the Lich King when we was getting ready for the Cataclysm launch, we all stocked up on Wintergrass commendations to get Honor so we could get PvP gear quicker, and that worked. So on the basis they never removed or changed that, there's a good chance they won't remove or change the Obsidian fragments either. Now, before the pre-patch, the main reason for stocking up on Justice points is of course going to be to upgrade your heirlooms. Now, there's a few things about heirlooms that I keep getting asked the same questions over and over again on Twitch and Kick, so I'm streaming the beta almost every single day on twitch.tv/Scottejaye87 or kick.com/Scottejaye. Come over and give us a follow and say hello. But one of the most frequent questions is about the heirloom legs, and are the heirloom legs available on the beta? Well, firstly, no, because we can't get past level 85, and if you're not aware how you get the heirloom legs at the moment, they actually come from a guild achievement called Working Better as a Team. Now, this is to max all professions in Mr. Pandaria to 600, so of course, this is something you don't need to worry about in the pre-patch because you're not going to have access to them, but very shortly after MoP launches and you and all your guild max your professions, you're going to get them for your next characters. But what does happen in the pre-patch is you are going to be able to get your level 80 heirlooms to go up to level 85. So this is going to be shoulders, chests, all of the different weapons, and even your trinkets. Now, there's no way to upgrade the Dread Pirate Ring to go to level 85, so if you've won the fishing tournament, this still only remains useful until level 80. And to upgrade the heirlooms, if you're upgrading PvP gear, it's going to take Honor. If you're upgrading PvE gear, it's going to take Justice points. In the pre-patch, we should also get the new additions, which is going to be 2 shields, being a tanking shield and a more intellect spirit-based shield, a caster offhand, and also a 2-handed agility staff. Now, it's worth mentioning that the agility staff does need upgrading. So you need to buy the base level 80 version and then upgrade it to level 85, whereas the offhand and the shields, they start at level 85. So it's a one-time purchase. Now, this is where the difficulty came in, because I wanted to give you a video that's as thorough as possible and so you really can prepare. But how am I to know exactly how you plan to prepare? So are you rolling a monk in the pre-patch, so all you care about is monk heirlooms? Maybe when Panda becomes available, you want to be a Panda mage, so you want to make sure you've got all the cloth heirlooms. Everybody's requirement and the amount of justice points they're going to need to upgrade heirlooms is going to be different, so I wanted to provide you with a way that works for everybody, no matter what, from collectors who just want to get every single heirloom to people that are rolling monks that just want monk-specific heirlooms, which maybe you want the agility heirlooms and the intellect heirlooms because you plan on doing a bit of DPS and healing on your way to 85 in the pre-patch. So I came up with a sheet for all of you to use that will work no matter what. Now, I'm no Excel or Google Sheets guru, but I can throw together a decent enough calculator, hopefully. Obviously, the link's going to be in the top line of the description where you can get to this, and the first thing you're going to want to do is make a copy of it. Now, if you make a copy of it and anything goes wrong, feel free to obviously click on the link again and make a fresh copy. Now, as soon as you click on the link, the first thing you're going to want to do is make a copy of it. And the reason you're making a copy of it is because if you're trying to use it at the same time as everybody else, as others are ticking or unticking boxes, it's going to do it on your end as well. So make a copy, but just bear in mind the sheet is unprotected when you make a copy. So if you mess anything up, deleting formulas or anything like that, then just go back to the original sheet, remake a copy again. But ideally don't touch anything that's not the tick boxes. Again, I've tried to make this so it's as useful as possible to absolutely everybody. So firstly, what does it do? Well, let's say me, for example, I'm pretty sure it's no secret I'm going to be doing multiple monks in the pre-patch. So I'm probably going to want Mistweaver gear, I'm going to want agility gear for Brewmaster and Windwalker, and then I'm going to want the weapons. And remember, because we've got the collection tab, when it comes to weapons, if you're going to dual wield, you still need to only upgrade one, because then you just make further duplicates from your collection tab. So I'm going to want an agility mace upgraded, and then let's say I'm going to want the intellect staff for if I do some Mistweaver. At the same time, I'm going to want both versions of trinkets, because I'm going to want the haste trinkets if I'm Brewmaster and Windwalker, and I'm going to want the intellect trinkets when I go Mistweaver. Now, for the pre-patch, I could kind of just get away with this. This means all my heirlooms are going to go to level 85. Now, I've not put the heads or the cloaks on here because obviously you just buy those with gold, and when you buy them with gold, they go straight to level 85 anyway. So with this sheet, we're purely just focusing on the ones that you need justice points to upgrade. So what this first tells me is how many justice points I'm going to need if I want to buy the heirlooms, so just their level 80 base versions, how much I'm going to need to then upgrade them, and then obviously the total if I'm starting from scratch with absolutely nothing. Now for this section, this is the important one. So justice point capped characters before pre-patch. Now the reason it says estimate is because if you think about it, you've got things like shoulders and chest where they're going to be 870 each. So if I untick everything other than those, that's now going to be 3,480. So one character would be able to get their 4K justice point cap and be able to upgrade all of those. That's why it says I need less than one capped character. Now the thing is, when you start going up and you're trying to get loads of them, it's not going to take into account that you can only have 4K per character. So you'll have to just bear that in mind. But you know, if it says like 0.87, as long as you've got one fully capped character, you're going to be able to get all of that. Then if we add the other items back in, which was the agility mace, the caster staff, and the trinkets, it's now saying 1.98. But like I say, the thing is, because it doesn't know that you can only hold 4,000, all it knows is the amount you need, and then it's dividing it by 4,000. I would always go half a cap above whatever it says. Because when you look at this, you know that one character is going to be able to get the leather shoulders and chests, but won't have enough budget left over to get anything else. Now, the other character is going to have to get the weapons and the trinkets. It's going to be 2,270 just for the weapons, and then another 2,180 for the trinkets. So even though, yes, you need less than 2 characters cap worth, it's always worth then going an extra couple of thousand above. So when you can't quite spend the full 4,000, which is going to be very rare that you can, and instead you've only spent, let's say, 3,500 on one character, you've got another character to be able to pick up the slack with. So again, from my personal testing with the sheet using lots of different variations, the best thing to do is just go half a cap above whatever it tells you to do. Now, obviously, you can tick absolutely everything on here and it will tell you exactly how many characters you're going to have to cap, or again, roughly how many characters you're going to have to cap. But honestly, it's going to be such a huge amount of upgrade cost that you're probably just going to be capping every character you've got anyway, at which point using this sheet is kind of pointless. This is definitely aimed at people that only want to target specific heirlooms. Now, the other bit worth mentioning is the new heirloom section. So we're going to get the 2 shields and the offhand like I've spoke about, and the staff. Now, I've added these purely in the upgrade cost column, and this is purely because most people are going to be more interested in this number here on how many characters they've got a cap. So at least if these are in the upgrade column, it's going to go directly towards that. Even though really the initial cost is 2175, for all of the offhands, including the shields, they start at level 85 anyway, so they've got no upgrade cost. And then for the staff, I've put it down as 4.9k, which is actually the base staff and the upgrade cost combined. The upgrade cost is 1,400, so if for some reason you only want the level 80 version, then just take 1,400 off whatever you get here at the end. Now, I've also done the same for the PvP heirlooms, including the new heirloom, which is Mark of Tyranny, which is a new PvP trinket, and it will tell you the initial cost and the upgrade cost, but this time, of course, it's going to be in honor, and it will tell you how many honor capped characters you're going to need as an estimate. There's a couple of other things on here that you can just ignore for now, but these are going to grow over time, so it's worth checking back to the master sheet occasionally to see what I've been working on. For example, launch gear. So this is actually going to calculate how many justice points or honor points you're going to be able to get before launch. This is not launch of the pre-patch, this is actual launch of Mr. Pandaria. Now, these are conditioned, so if I try and put too many fragments in, it won't let me because there's a cap of 160. So let's say I've got 160 of each fragment. I've also got 4,000 justice and honor. This will now tell you how much justice points you'll get from the fragments in total. It will tell you how many honor points you're going to get from the fragments in total. And also if you was to convert all your justice to honor, or your honor to justice. Now, these are converting down correctly, as in from 375 to 250, so you will have some left over because you can't quite convert all of the justice into honor or all of the honor into justice. But if we're saying all you want is justice points at launch, then you're going to have 14.5k doing this. If all you want is honor points at launch, you're going to have 11,750. Now, some things will change with that, and I want to actually add a list of items to it, so at least item cost, so you know, oh, I've got 11,750. I'll be able to get PvP gloves, shoulders, I don't know, legs. You know, you'll be able to sort of make a shopping list almost of which items you want to get. So I will be building on that section. But for now, it's kind of bare bones. And as I'm thinking of new things, I'm putting them on this sheet. Like the very lonely last tab, which is Darkmoon Fair. There's a new pet in Darkmoon Fair, which is Darkmoon Hatchling. So going into the pre-patch with 90 prize tickets already ready, so you can buy this as soon as Darkmoon Fair comes. It's just another little thing that you can prepare now. And you all know I'm a little bit of a freak when it comes to pet battles, so obviously that was one of the first things I've done. But look, overall, I'm not saying it's perfect, nor am I any Excel or Google Sheets wizard, but I think this is good enough to get by, and it's going to give you a good idea on how many Justice points you're going to need going into the pre-patch, how many Honor points you'll need if you want to upgrade your heirlooms from PvP gear, and a little bit of a calculator in terms of how much of both of those you can get for launch of Mr. Pandaria. Obviously, feel free to share this with your guild or whoever you want, and I've got a master copy of it if anything goes wrong, but the sheet is pretty well protected, hopefully, and you should only really be able to interact with the tick box icons. But again, if for some reason you make your copy and you break it, just come back to the master copy and make a fresh copy and you'll be absolutely fine again. Also, bear in mind, it is very much a work in progress. As I build on it, you'll get new features. If people start making requests of things that would be really good to be on here as well, obviously join my Discord. My Discord is actually on the first page of it. You can make some requests, let me know, maybe even help out if there's anything that you want to see added, but you've got a lot more capacity when it comes to Google Sheets than I have. But cool. If you enjoyed the video, as always, be sure to like and subscribe. Consider joining the channel as a member. Check me out on Twitch, Kick, all that stuff. I don't know, Rested XP. You know the drill. I'll see you on the next one.